The big key what do? We help people and organizations make decisions faster. One of the fastest ways you can do that, what's on your not do list? What are you not going to do?
Welcome to the Small Business Safari, where I help guide you to avoid those traps, pitfalls, and dangers that lurk when navigating the wild world of small business ownership. I'll share those gold nuggets of information and invite guests to help accelerate your ascent to that mountaintop of success. It's a jungle out there, and I want to help you traverse through the levels of owning your own business that can get you bogged down and distract you from hitting your own personal and professional goals. So strap in, adventure team, and let's take a ride through the safari and get you to the mountaintop. Alan, we got to get going again because I'm all about preparedness. I don't know about you, but I like to plan.
You're like a Boy Scout.
You know what? Always be prepared is my motto.
Chris, why are you so organized and so proactive? Why are you so, my God, you just make time slow down just being around you.
Or I go by the seat of my flipping ass. There we go, baby.
Which is on fire.
Always, because we got to keep rocking every single day. I know you guys are in your truck. You're probably driving around. You've probably seen what's going on. Go out there, man. You're probably sweating. If you're here in the Southeast, you've probably been sweating for like forever. And they keep talking about global warming, and I keep saying, no, not happening. As I sit here just sweating balls off. I mean, I'm in seriously swamp ass. Not in the podcast, but I'm just like out there in the business doing the thing. You know what I'm saying?
Got a river of lava flowing down the crack.
It's bad. Yep. It's bad. But you know what we do is we try to cool it all back down. That's what we're
Is that what we're doing?
No, we're bringing the heat up, man, because you want to make something happen. You got to have a little swamp ass. You got to make it happen. That's what I think. Sometimes people don't realize that every once in a while, you got to sweat it out a little bit and make something happen. Business is not easy, man. That's the problem. Everybody thinks, hey, I got a great idea. I'm going to be an influencer. Oh, you know what? I just saw this guy. He's making $1 million. I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm going to, because he's killing it. And guess what, everybody? They ain't killing it. They are not killing. I just got done talking to two of my interns this summer here in Atlanta.
Minions.
That's what I do. I get cheap labor and I beat the living hell out of them. I use my damn it doll. And you think I don't have one? I have a damn it doll.
He does have a damn it doll.
I do. And I swung it at him today. I let him know.
Used.
I said, so I brought him in. I said, all right, guys, here's what you got to do. Don't start a business. Number one. No, I'm kidding. I said, if you want to start a business, be smart. Use people that will willing to give you information, right? And so the thing I was telling them is like, get on LinkedIn now. You're 20 years old. You're in college. You guys are going to finish your 4-year degrees. Here's what I told them, and don't tell their parents. I'm like, I don't care if you finish school. In fact, if you want to quit, do it. But you better have a really good damn idea about what you want to do and make it happen. You better have a business plan. You better know your shit. You better get it all figured out, and you can do that. Or you can sit there and finish your last year in college, get your degree. You got the piece of paper. It's in your pocket. Great way to go. And the whole time you're doing it, you're thinking about these things. Because when you're in college, you're the average of the 5 people you meet. Check this out. Jim Rohn said it. You're the average of the 5 people you meet. I said, so he can be your fraternity buddy. You love partying with him. He can be your football buddy because you love watching football with him. Or he could be the guy who's at the library making things happen. Or he could be the guy who is thinking, man, I think I got a great idea for a business. I'm thinking about putting this business plan together. Maybe I should work with this dude. What do you think of that?
I think you're so excited. I'm trying to figure out why. Is it because of our guest?
I am.
Because I'm like, well, I'm probably hasn't taken his pills like he should. I mean,
I'm off the AD.
Yeah.
Okay. What do I get? What do I take? I can't even remember. It's so bad I am. Adderall. That's what it is. No, actually, I'm not even on it. I should be.
You don't have time to say ADD. It's just AD.
I can't. I just do AD. I moved it down. So no, I'm excited because we have a great guest, a guy who has.
Folks, we have a guest in studio.
What?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, did I? I didn't bring him up, did I?
No, you didn't.
I know.
And he's one of these guys. We should probably say what he does first because we're going to get into the backstory, which looks epic.
The backstory is beyond epic. Everybody, hold on. You're in a car. You're walking.
Because I have a feeling sometimes our listeners are like, "Where are they going?
Where are they going?"
Yeah, so we should probably tell them.
Should we end? All right. So the end is he's an executive business coach, but he's not exactly like the others. Because I'll tell you why. This guy has seen shit. This guy has done shit.
And he brought a backpack of liquor.
Oh, by that too. But no, he also if we're going to talk security clearance shit, we're going to talk about high level stuff. We're going to talk about disaster preparedness.
You
We're going to
booked.
talk about how in the hell did you actually start a business and start a foundation in the most bureaucratic thing in the possible world, and that's the American politics in the system. I am so shocked this guy came out of there, because when I met the guy and then he told me his background, I'm like, no, that's impossible. There's no way you worked in American.
So he is right here. We could
So should we introduce him? Let's do it. Ian Hay is in the house, baby. Ian Hay. I love his email. I love talking to him.
Get the same introduction again.
You will never get that one. Ian, welcome to the show, baby.
It is delightful to be here. You are correct. I will never get an introduction like that. And this is now why I understand they call it the adventure team.
Well, and you see what
Because
my
we're
role
here.
is. I got to just bring Chris down because sometimes he's just going off like a Roman camp.
And yet he really said probably the most important thing that we'll get to, at least in the beginning, which
That
is
disappoints me.
certain. Look, I'm trying to be polite, man.
Okay.
Give me a break here. Would you?
Okay.
He invited
Can you
me.
let him suck up to the host a little bit? Huh? Give me a little suck. Can I get a little suck up? Hey.
Okay, this is a no suck up environment. Here we go. No, Sir Winston Churchill said, do what you like, but like what you do. And that is the number one quote I say to people when I'm doing career coaching. We're not going to talk about that yet. However, that is a big quote. Do what you like, but like what you do. And so if you're following your passion, then magic things happen, and you're actually able to create an organization inside that interfaces with government and private sector. And that's what we're here to talk about, right?
Yeah,
Did
man.
not everything that come out of that man's mouth just become gold?
Churchill?
Oh my God.
I know.
I can just read Churchill quotes all day long.
I mean, his Churchill. I don't hate I don't hate action. I hate inaction.
Mhm.
He says something like that.
Mhm.
And I put that in my book. Of course, I quoted a lot better because I can't remember it right off the top of my head. But I love that because you're right. This dude, and he took a country that was absolutely in total tatters, getting hammered from all sides, and brought them together, galvanized them, and made it happen. I mean, there's a leader you got to follow.
And then after the war, he didn't get reelected. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Right. Well, because
My favorite one now, he's got very pithy ones, but wasn't it he who the woman said, "You're drunk"?
Lady Astor, do you want me to do it, or you're welcome
No,
to take it?
you please take it.
So quotes have always been a big deal for me, and Churchill, the tops, and absolutely same political environment, right? That environment, which was anti-war, blah, 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 then goes on and they win the war and they save the world, right? Of course, other people get into stuff. The U.S. comes in and finishes it.
We help, but man, did they hold him off for a long time.
And that's my point, is that I'm a dual hatter. My parents are both from Britain. I was born in Boston, Cradle of Liberty. So back to the quote, which is famous. So Lady Astor, there were two of them. One is, Winston, I care not for your politics or your mustache. And he says, well, frankly, my dear, you won't come into contact with either.
oh my God, thank God he did. Now he could do an English accent.
I'm really
Hold on. We're not done.
Oh, let's
So
keep
then
going.
the second one, which you may have been referring to, which is, Winston, if I were your wife, I would put poison in your tea. He says, my dear, if you were my wife, I would drink it.
that is not the quote.
Oh,
She
this
says-
is great. I
No,
love it.
Are you really going to correct the English just because you're English too? I mean, seriously.
No.
He's first
No,
generation.
I'm loving it.
No, there was
All right, go.
there's somebody, and it was probably the same person who said, "You're drunk." Go ahead, take it because you got the accent.
I don't believe that that's Churchill.
You don't think it's Churchill?
I think it is. It's Irish. I can't remember if it's James Joyce. We should probably quickly Google it, but
Because this is going to go to 15
you should tell the
continents.
story because
it's wrong.
We are intergalactic,
It's
but
just so funny.
I think you go
You're
with
drunk.
it. I love
Yes, I am, but tomorrow morning I'll be sober and you'll still be ugly.
100%.
it. That's the line.
That's the quote.
Can I hear it in an English accent, please?
What's the opener? Something like
You're
you're
drunk.
drunk. Well, madam, I may be. However, in the morning I'll be you're ugly. However, in the morning I'll be sober and you'll still be ugly.
Beautiful. You two are cracking me up. All right, guys, we're here to learn. We're here to love. We're here to have some fun while we're doing this, right? So Ian Hay in the house talking about some great stuff. Let's get into this stuff. So today he's an executive business coach, helping people in small business, but also medium business. And
So we're not going to talk about his security clearance.
we're going to go back.
I'll
And we're
get you
not,
there.
and we're
You
not
said-
going to talk
said
about
start
his
there.
grandfather accepting the surrender of a U-boat commander.
German U-boat commander, yeah.
No,
from a
I'm
plane?
sorry, guys. That's going to be the
Really?
next episode.
Oh my!
Nice tease. Hey,
Yeah.
who's on the radio here, bro? It's called a radio tease. A
Out of
radio
control.
tease.
You are out of control.
Radio
I'm just trying
tease.
to bring it down.
You know, it's a radio
Land the plane,
tease.
Chris.
All right, here we go. All right.
You know what? You're like a helicopter that lost a rotor. You're just spinning.
No. We're not doing that.
my-
Because that's not good. He
What?
just basically he's tapping off the deck, right? We're coming in the
Touch
aircraft
and go.
carrier.
Touch and go.
Touch and go, baby. Let's go around.
You know, I feel like I'm a touch and go guy. I'm a touch and go. Let's do that. Huh? Can we continue? All right, ladies, let's keep going. All right, Ian Hay in the house. So Ian has an incredible background. So Ian, first generation British, born here, as you said, the cradle of liberty. You're very proud of your Boston heritage. Unfortunately, I hate all of your sports teams, but we'll continue later.
You're welcome.
And because I know. I used to remember when the Patriots sucked, and I was so happy because I was a Lions fan devoted of all my life.
Were you not cheering for the Red Sox when Schilling's socks were bleeding through? Come on.
All right, a little bit I was.
Yeah,
I'll give you
thank
that.
you.
But I'm also a Tigers fan. Today, living here in Atlanta, I'm a Falcons and a Braves guy. I got Braves season tickets. So, but it's the Patriots. Yeah. I actually, in the Celtics, we had the Pistons Celtics hatred too. And then hockey, which is what I grew up on. I had the Red Wings, and you were the Bruins, and of course I had to hate you.
Look, man, we're original six. We're lovers, not haters.
It's OG. I mean, it's OG. hate.
Absolutely OG.
And when they went down, it was like, yeah, let's fight it. You know what? And they all get to. What's hilarious is that you hear these stories is that they had those knockdown dragouts, and you think, oh my god, they hate each other. Now they're all at the bar together at the end.
Yep.
Do you have what it takes to start your own business? Are you tired of the 9-to-5 corporate job and ready to make that leap into entrepreneurship? You need to check out From the Zoo to the Wild, the book by successful entrepreneur Chris Lalomia. This book is a unique perspective on the journey into the wild world of home services and delivering excellence in service while working in customers' homes. Lalomia shares his path to success in this industry, including proven customer relationship strategies, award-winning customer experience processes, and a unique approach to training a team of service technicians to perform at the highest levels. Whether you're a small business trying to scale or a franchise operation, From the Zoo to the Wild will give you the mindset, habits, leadership style, and customer-oriented processes to succeed as a small business owner in the world of home services. So if you're ready to take control of your future, get a copy of From the Zoo to the Wild today, available on Amazon.
I love hockey players the best. All right, let's get back to Ian. So Ian, today you're a business coach. You've had an incredible arc and career. So here you are coming out of high school. What did you want to do with your life?
So it's funny because I was originally going to go in the military, and because that was the family business, right? We're either doing textiles in India, where my grandfather was born, or we're all teachers, or we've been in the military. And what's funny is the quick family history is on the Hay side, we rescued King Alpine from the Vikings. And so our family crest has got 3 blood red shields because a father and 2 brothers bled. So that's the quick, my dad's side of the family, we were personal bodyguards, Robert Bruce, King of Scotland, Secret Service of Scotland, essentially. My mother's side, my grandfather, yes, is the only RAF officer ever to be surrendered to by a German U-boat commander. Usually they were surrendered to the Royal Navy.
Right.
And instead, the commander is flying over the run aground U-boat, and he says, "Hey, Booney, you got to go take this guy's surrender." And he goes out on a skiff and does so. And there's a little plaque at Hereford Air Force Base that notes this. And of course, that was my grandfather, just a natural, heroic SOB. Just that's the way he was, right? Was a Spitfire pilot, got injured in France, commanded air bases in Iran,
I
Iraq, and
love
Egypt.
the Spitfire. Such a
It's
badass
just-
plane.
So the grandparents all stayed in England. Your parents came
Yep.
to the States. Why?
So, they came here to find adventure. I mean, they came here because they just felt that pull. My dad was told by his best friend, Donald, the research money is here. It's so much better than in Britain. I've got a very funny story about how those two met, dealing with rat poop. However, my mom, she and her best friend decided to come over. At that point, Harvard was looking for English speaking secretaries. They loved that, right? You guys loved the accent.
Hello.
They wanted that accent when somebody dialed their office. And my mother
That's
actually,
what you need.
I need that accent.
You do.
I know, because you always make fun of me for my fake Southern
Oh,
accent.
it's
Because
so bad. Have you
but-
heard his fake? I know you listen
I
to
have
20
because I've
podcasts.
about 20 podcasts. And
Yeah.
nice.
now look, I mean, during the G8 summit, I called my dad, and his accent had declined massively. However, what I picked up was my father goes, Ian, is that you? Like my own father is asking because I picked up the, South Georgia boy. Hey, we're just going down to the clam shack, and it just gets.
I still feel like I can do it, but again, I've been accused of being Canadian because I'm from
Because
Michigan.
you got that northern Michigan.
Yeah, I don't see it at all. I don't know what the hell is going on. You know what I'm saying? Out and about. Let's go get some donuts. Yeah, some beers a little bit. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, you hoser.
Hoser.
Oh,
Tim Hortons.
I had
Totally.
so back to
They're
the
opening a
podcast.
Tim Hortons here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you know who Tim Horton was?
No.
No, he's a hockey player from
Of course he
Canada.
was.
Mhm.
Yeah. And he started the Tim Hortons chain, and then he died in a car accident. So Tim Hortons in Canada is revered, right? I mean, you eat there because you honor his legacy. But what's funny is I'm out. I'm at a networking event. Lady comes up. I'm like, hey, how you doing? She goes, yeah, how you doing? Yeah, I love your show. I'm like, so I'm on the radio. I'm doing that. All right.
Oh, so now you
Yes.
don't know which show?
I
Did you
know
actually
because I'm
say
that big.
which
She
show?
goes, no, I listen to your
What
podcast.
a
I'm like,
pompous
she
ass.
goes, I just think you're gonna really like this.
Okay.
She goes, my son was born here in the South, and I heard him playing video games with his friend, and he says, "You're such a hoser." I said, "Oh, I'm such a fan." I said, "Of course." I said, "I love that." She goes, "I know. I had to go look it up because I didn't know how bad it was." I said, "It's not that. Come on, it's easy one." She goes, "No, it was really bad in Canada." I'm like, "No, I was there when it happened. It's okay. You're fine." So, all right, back to Ian, shall we? Thank you, Alan.
Sorry, I was taking a drink. Thanks
Okay.
for the
W-
timing
w-
of that.
Was that enough of a teaser for some of the background we talked about?
I do like that.
So one thing I really wanted to say is that we're here thanks to the greatness of networking. So even though I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do coming out of college, coming out of high school or college, I knew that it was going to be related to people. It was going to be somehow how do I touch and impact other people? And so what's funny is we're here because of my buddy Michael Goldberg, who runs the networking group. And we met in Boston, fast friends, at a networking event. I think it was American Society for Training and Development. We became fast friends. Here we are, fast forward. I get Chris at a table twice. And I'm like, this dude's a storyteller. I got to hang around. And we're just, going back and forth. And that's why I'm just
He's a lot of fun, bro.
so thrilled to be here. But that's the reason, right? And, for your listeners, it's about golden nuggets. What can we give you quickly that you can put into your life today? And so I've got one. So let me tell you just a little bit about me.
This might be the earliest golden nugget we've ever dropped because I
Dude.
think most of our listeners have to wait till like minute 38 and all of a sudden, boom, boom, boom.
We're going boom, boom.
Yeah.
Let's go, gold nugget,
You
Ian.
got-
Hey,
you got to put it up front, right?
Yeah.
So just quickly, so my organization is Winning Discipline, and I'll explain more about that. However, the big key what do? We help people and organizations make decisions faster. One of the fastest ways you can do that, what's on your not do list? What are you not going to do? If you have things that you're not going to do,
Not going to do or don't want to do.
Well, it's more not what I'm not going to do. So let me explain that. So this kind of concept, I mean, obviously the concept of not do list has been out there, but I'm sitting there and I've worked at home for over 25, 30 years. And I realized, I keep cleaning the kitchen counter again and again after every meal, every time to get a coffee, whatever. And I realized, you know what? I'm just going to do it once after breakfast and then once in the evening when I'm done with dinner. And the amount of time that I save myself is probably about 30, 40 minutes a day. Okay, now what am I going to do with that 40 minutes? So what could potentially be on your not-do list? Well, I'm not going to get upset about a call I had with somebody who was off base and they didn't do that. Maybe I'm running late. I'm 15 minutes late to a live podcast. I'm just not going to carry that into my next,
That's a
my next
hypothetical, of
operation
course. Yeah.
cycle.
We weren't going to call him out on it, but yeah, he was. But you know
Oh,
what?
yeah.
He brought liquor, so we quickly forgave him, didn't we?
And I was in
I
communication
didn't
about it
even
the moment
remember.
I knew.
You know what? Actually, that's exactly right. That's the gold nugget as well. I'm with you. The do not list, I love that. But you told us.
Yep.
And you're like, all right, everybody calm back down. Because Alan's like, hey, I had to get out of here. So he texted his family and said, hey, I might be a couple minutes
Oh,
late.
awesome. Thank you.
It was all goodness. And that's when you came in. I was like, all right, everybody calm down. Let's relax. But if you just tell people when shit happens, hey, look, this just happened and it's not that bad.
And it's about communication, and it's about crystal clear communication.
Right. Because
so-
Alan's very uptight.
And so I maybe we'll make this this screen cap public, but here I am talking to my Uber driver because there was no way I was driving. I knew what I was bringing. So I'm planning ahead, right? And I have this screen capture, which is, it doesn't seem like you're moving. And we're kind of getting to your 4 questions at the end, but basically I'm telling the person I'm under a tight timeline and they're telling me I got to pump gas. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And so what did I do? Immediately send a communication that's crystal clear. Here's my known ETA. Here's what I'm doing next. And you're gonna feel the Homeland Security and what we call the incident command system come into this, right? Because Incident Command System, ICS, is all about how do I organize? How do I manage my resources? How do I manage my personnel? So I'm just like, all right, I'm clearly going to be late. I was going to be here 20 minutes ahead of time. Now I've communicated when I'm on the road, hit Chris again. When I'm at the gate, I said, I'm at the gate.
Yep.
So you guys knew exactly where I was in time and space. And imagine if you are a military unit that's in a forward area, you want to know when the cavalry's coming or air support is coming. If you are fire personnel, you want to know when that second truck is coming because you're outgunned, right? And so the best thing you can do is have crystal clear communication.
Wow. This
2 golden nuggets.
dropped. That's 2. And we aren't even out of minute 5, bro. Oh my God, where are we going to go? All right, let's get back to it. So that's 2 gold nuggets, right? Oh my God, not do list.
Why do
and
you think
communication.
people have such a hard time with that though? Because it seems so intuitive to me that just deliver the news, whether it's bad, as soon as you have it, because all that time people have to wonder what's going on just spins them out of control. Can you imagine just keeping Chris in the dark at how deep into the ceiling he would have twisted himself? And I don't understand why other people just think
I'm deep and dark hurling. I'm talking Joker shit. I'm talking.
That's right. You're painting your face slowly, tying the bandana on your head.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
And
sharpening the knife like Rambo.
When he comes in, I'm just going to take him right out. Oh yeah, I'm just going to cut his legs off.
He's going to start with "Hey sugar," right? That's what we're going to start with. And thank you for stealing my stuff. So my mentor, Derek Rowan, CEO of Essentra, basically they do training and exercises at the highest level. And he says, bad news never improves with time.
Oh,
bad news never improves with time.
Hey, Ian, next time we're at a networking event and I go, hey, I just had this great epiphany. And I say, bad news never improves with time. You're going to say, what? No, I told you that. That's my favorite.
No, I'm just going to say attribute it to Derek and we're all good, man.
Oh, then we're covered, baby.
Right?
Let's go. Hey, Derek.
So is it really stealing if it's not really stealing from the person you stole it from? Is that what you're thinking?
I don't know. I stole it all.
I love where this is going.
Yeah, I steal a lot. So let's continue.
I think borrow is a better term.
Bad
not
news.
Quite liberate.
Never improves.
We're not
time.
liberating it, but.
Oh, I love that line, man. Oh my God. Soak that one in. Rewind that sucker and bring it back in. Bad news never improves with time. I know you've heard it. I repeated it, and I'm going to steal it. All right, Ian. So I want to go back to this. You're 17. You're 18. Mom, dad, and you said mom. I checked that out.
Mm-hmm.
So did they say you got to go to college, or you're like?
No, it's actually funny. My dad was concerned I wasn't going to get into college.
Nice.
Well, he was like, the British system is so different, and that's really, both my parents kind of were hands off in my education. But he kept getting swept up, right? In the British system, you keep taking the cream off the top. And so he had this accelerated path to London University. He actually wrote his PhD, I think, in a year and a half or under 2 years, got it done. It's ridiculous that he found a protein that every dental student has to know, stathin. You want to know when I found this out? At his memorial.
I was about to say somebody else,
Wow.
right? Somebody else. Oh my God.
That's my dad.
Total English, right? Hey, Dad,
100%.
are you amazing? No, I just I live here.
Incredibly
Was that
talented.
your English accent?
I can't even do that either. I could go back to
Sounded
Canadian.
Russian.
Yeah, I know, but I love that.
Okay,
Well,
well, let
in
you do
Michigan, it's
Canadian.
almost
Yeah.
Russia,
I'll do
right after
Canadian.
Canada. It's
Yeah.
almost Russia.
Yeah, close enough. All right. So you found that out, right? So here you go. Your dad's a PhD. Your mom's out there kicking ass. They moved here. Did you have any siblings?
Nope.
All right.
All the eggs were in one basket.
Oh, the only child. Ellen.
He's special.
We have a lot to unpack, but we can't do that here because that's this podcast. Although, can we find a way to weave some true crime shit into this? Because that's the number one genre. And I just told my dentist that this morning because all the hygienists were circling around going, "Hey, you have a podcast?" I'm like, "I do, but it's not. It's business." They're like, "Oh, it's not true crime." So I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Damn it,
I mean, do we want to start a false rumor?
we should." But anyway, back to you.
Okay.
Shall
Oh,
we?
you had all the cops show. What was the firewood? I mean, when all the police come and arrest these guys, I'm like, it was fantastic.
Leroy Height from
Oh
Cutting
my
Edge.
gosh,
Dude,
Hey.
when he said that, the mental image of him, I was like, as a small business owner, I mean, only because I've had the cops not raid me, of course. Thank you, everybody.
This
The trust
time.
we are now officially in true crime.
This
Yep.
time. Yeah.
This time. He talked about that. I was like, oh my God, how do you get out of that? Going back to that, you got to listen to that. Leroy Height, Cutting Edge, talked about.
By the way, I
firewood.
got a shout out to you, Chris, because you bought me a box of Leroy's cutting edge firewood.
I did. You know what? Leroy needs to give a shit out because I didn't get one flippin' discount. He saw my house and he went, "Huh, this guy's paying full
Yeah.
price."
Yeah. But it was awesome. Did you actually open yours up yet?
I have. I had Troy try it. My buddy Troy.
Oh, you had other people do it for you?
Yeah.
There seems to be a pattern.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to light my own fire.
God.
Come on, baby, light my
I cooked a
fire.
paella this weekend, and
Did you?
I used it because
And?
it's like super kiln dry. Yeah,
Did it work?
It worked amazing because it was so wet this weekend, and
Yeah.
I've got all these piles of oak and hickory and stuff, and I was really having a hard time getting the fire going. I'm like, wait a minute, I've got this cutting edge firewood.
Come on.
Yeah, and you open up the box, and you've got all these, and one of them's branded on the top.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
So smart.
But then there's kindling, and then there's matches, and then there's a magnet, and it's so well put together. It's kind of like the firewood equivalent of the first time you opened an iPhone box, and you're like, oh, you know what I mean?
I went somewhere else, but okay.
Yeah, moving on to that's a
So that was
brilliant
gonna be
preparedness
That's
kit.
going to be a Playboy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
You owe me for that one, Chris. I'm here to help.
Thank you.
So-
Yeah, got me out of that one.
So bottom line is I finally got the
I read
coals
those
going,
too.
and
What?
but the thing to paella is you got to go hot heat and then moderate heat, and then you finish strong with hot heat.
Yeah, right.
And so you need to turn on a dime, and I used all Leroy's wood to manage the fire. Boom, boom, awesome paella.
Did it really?
Oh, it was
Oh,
amazing.
let's go.
Got the
Love
socarrat
that
at the
shit.
end. It was crispy.
Oh, we
It was
fist
great.
bumped on that one.
Yeah.
Can we go back to Ian?
Yeah,
'Cause
let's-
he didn't come here to listen.
I was actually going to segue to, since we're talking about fire, one of the greatest things I ever heard. This is post Katrina, and we're trying to figure out, hey, what are the lessons learned here? And I'll never forget it. This again.
don't live in a floodplain.
Well, there are a number of things, but you'll get two golden nuggets on this one. So one is again my mentor Derek Rowan. They're chatting with a high level chief, and he says, "Hey, what chainsaw do you standardize on?" He says, "Perfect pregnant pause. I've never had an axe not start on me."
I love it.
And so one of the big things that came out of Katrina was put a crowbar and an axe in your attic.
Mm.
And so I have that. And again, it doesn't have to be because of a flood, but if my house is on fire and the fastest way out is through the roof, I can do it.
Mhm.
But if you don't have those tools, if you're not prepared for it, you can't.
Love it.
Oh crap!
You said there were two nuggets.
But that was it.
Oh, because I had
hey,
Right?
nugget.
I've
Don't
never had an axe not start on me.
Right. Yeah.
One, go with the axe. Number two, put it in your
Put it in
attic.
your attic. Yeah. No, I got it.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh my God, I don't have an axe in my attic.
You guys
Actually,
will do this
if I got an attic,
you
by
are
this weekend?
screwed.
I'm
By
so
by
dead.
Saturday? You'll do this by Saturday?
Hell yeah.
because that's how we get things done in my executive coaching firm.
Oh, he just held us accountable. He held us accountable.
All right.
What?
You'll be hearing from me on Saturday.
no.
Hey, guys, it's
Damn it.
noon. Are you done yet?
Axe time.
You know what? I've got a whole bunch of axes in my house.
Although if I have
I
an
really do.
if I have an axe in my attic, how do I get out? Because I'm up there and
Well, you
it's a
just-
long way down.
You have somebody else make the hole for you, and then
You'd
just
rather be
walk
on the
through.
roof than you would be in the fire. Fair?
Oh, I'll give you that one. Oh, he's got me on that one. Damn it. I hate these preparedness guys. You know, they're so smart. All right. So let's go back. So you're 18, you're 17, you're 18, your dad's a genius. And of course you're trying to live up to that, which we never can. But you're like, and he's like, son, I'm not really sure you're going to be able to even make it to college. Thanks, Dad, for the support. So now what?
Well, thanks. Mom was there, right? And my mother was actually smarter than him. Genius in language, high school dropout, and yet ends up locking up an IBM Selectric at Harvard. So the IBM sales rep is like, that can never be done. You can't lock up the little silver ball that types on the typewriters. Oh,
Nope.
I'm Gen Xing it right now, baby.
Big dog, you are
Right.
You're aging yourself. So
do you
Alan often says, hey, you bring in really young, good-looking people. And we're like, today we got Ian, who is part of our Men's Hair Club. And so we love that.
Oh, yeah. We're
Thank
talking
you.
about
So obviously we're not old, we're seasoned, as we've found out.
indeed.
Like
So
Leroy's
we're-
firewood.
So, all right, explain what this was.
So it's for those of you that never have used a typewriter, it had a silver ball that would rotate quickly, right?
Yeah.
It's called the IBM Selectric. And of course, American secretarial school had a certain rate of words per minute, and the British secretarial school was higher. And of course, the IBM was set on the American version, and she locks the thing up. And so the IBM sales rep says, that's impossible. I got to see it. So he comes into the office, watches her lock it up 3 times, and realizes, hey guys, we got to, upgrade our speed because there are people that can lock it up.
Holy crap.
And, completely crazy. And this is just the story of my life. It's just a natural thing. She's working for Dr. Carpenter, who studied ants in amber, right? Like Jurassic Park level.
Ants in amber.
In amber.
Okay.
So you got all these insects that are, right, that are trapped in amber, and they study them. And of course, it gets internationally known, maybe even the aliens, right? Even the aliens are on this one. And so it's just been a crazy life.
Well, we are intergalactic in our podcast. So I'm sure it's going out. I know that. I know that for a fact because I've already had some. No, I haven't. All right. So she's doing that kind of research.
Yep.
So you're in that household.
Oh, yeah.
Holy crapola. So all right. So you have to go to college. You have to get a PhD. You have to be like mom and dad.
Well-
You're the only child. You've got to be it. You're our only one, Ian. Go do it.
I mean, you said we're the average of 5 people, right? Or the 5 people we know. I'm the average of 2. One's a dropout, one's a PhD, so I'm right in the middle. Doing it exactly my way, which is really the greatest gift my parents gave me, is that they let me do things my way. It didn't sit with them at different times of life. However, I followed the lead from Churchill. I love what I do, no matter what it is, whether it's executive coaching, preparedness, doing, these COVID deployments that I've done. And so I come out of college, and the first job I had was as a sales trainer. So I go work Cutco Cutlery. My good buddy of mine, best friend now, Angela Simo. And I'm an office personnel within 4 to 6 weeks. And this is where, we'll come back to my favorite book, which is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Dr.
Nice.
Stephen Covey, because he talks about holy ground. And that is really what my firm and my life is about. What is it like? Just like the 3 of us, we are here on holy ground. This is sacred ground. There's a lot of learning going on. And so I'll never forget the first sales rep I sit down with, he's selling $60 a week. And we work together for 40 minutes. And next week he sells 600.
And you're
That is
like,
wow.
and you're
life
beaming.
altering,
You're like, dude, I found my calling.
right? Like
I-
life
I-
altering.
All right. What'd you
I made
what'd you tell
fire.
this guy?
I just basically I had him do his presentation. I then showed him my presentation. I said, pick 3, do these 3 things. And he comes back. And of course, I mean, he was ear to ear. He is completely ear to ear on the success that he's had. And so, yeah, that's addictive, right? And again, it wasn't what I did. It's what he did with what I did. And so I didn't have to take, credit for that. And I think that that happens a lot. And it goes back to the discussion we were having, like these things, seem intuitive. If you're going to be late, you communicate. If something's going to happen, you do whatever. Don't take credit for other people's success, right? I will never know the things that I say. You guys will never know.
But it seems like you had a teacher's heart coming out of college.
No, wait a minute. Let's pause on that.
What?
Don't take other people's success
No, I want to skip
or
across
ideas.
No, screw that. Hey, guys, that's this podcast, baby. Hey, you want to listen to this podcast? You want to get ahead? Steal everything that these guys are saying and call it your own and rock and roll with it. And Ian's going to say, gosh, that's awesome. And Alan's going to go, hey, I told you that. So hang around with Ian, not Alan. What? I'm kidding. All right.
So basically what I'm going to say is liberally borrow and attribute. And you can do the same thing, right? I mean, Thomas Jefferson said you can't own an idea. So let's share that idea. But, back where, here we are on holy ground. You guys will never know what you've said that's going to impact somebody. It's going to make a major difference in their business.
I do love that. And I love the fact that our listeners regularly reach out to Chris. And it just, because then suddenly, hey, there's somebody really out there on the other end of this mic, and you are making an impact in people's lives. And,
yeah, no, it's been super cool.
And the fact that you actually spend time with every single person that reach out, and I don't know, I don't want to open a,
no, do it.
Wormhole here.
I tell you,
I mean,
anybody, right? Chris at the Trusted Toolbox. Check me out, chrislalomia.com. 100%. If you call me, I will absolutely give you 30 minutes because to Ian's point, I wouldn't say I had a teacher's heart necessarily, but one thing I figured out was that I got into business and I didn't ask enough questions. I had a whole mentor group. I mean, I put together what I felt was my board of directors, but I was afraid to ask people in the business I was going into. And as I found out, and I do this any day of the week, I'm a handyman and remodeling company. If you're in the handyman and remodeling space and you're here in Atlanta, call me. I'll show you my books. Because, bro, this is a hard business. Business is hard. Life is hard. And if I can help you get ahead, there's plenty for all of us to go around doing it the right way. And that's the huge thing. And so that's the biggest part. And so as we do this podcast, that's why we're doing this, trying to help people get themselves accelerated, because I think small business ownership is one of the greatest gifts I will have ever. I talked about this with the kids today. I was 37. I was more afraid of being 60 years old, not knowing if I could ever do it on my own, than I was of being 60 years old and being the CEO of a bank in Southeast Georgia. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I want to see if I can do it. Have I done it? I don't know. We'll see. But I really love the adventure, and I love sharing this with everybody on the podcast. So let's keep rolling.
And it kind of gets to your original question, Alan, which is why this intuitive thing, why people don't want to tell truth to power. Right. People don't want to give people bad news when actually the bad news is what frees you. So it sets you free. And so certainly in my business, if we're in the middle of COVID and I've got some bad news, it doesn't help for me to not tell you what it is. And there were tons of, if you go into government, there are tons of people who are really concerned about telling truth to power.
All right. We got to go in there. That's where I'm dying to ask.
Are we open the door?
You've done it.
The door is open now.
Right. You're at Cutco Cutlery, which, by the way, I own them because my 3 doors down neighbor's son came to me, and I made him pitch me. Man, I made him work hard.
Did he cut the rope?
He did. He cut the rope. He cut the can. He did the whole thing. He was awesome. And God rest his soul. Unfortunately, he's passed away. I love this kid. But we got Cutco. God. I know it's horrible. I don't want to bring it down. So let's keep going. But you're in Cutco. How the hell did you get in the most bureaucratic thing in the possible world, and that's the U.S. government, and figure out a way to do it entrepreneurially?
We allowed to swear?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Shit, I raised my hand. I mean, where do I come from? I come from Massachusetts, and
that's not the volunteer state.
No, but I've got one hardcore Republican parent and one blue parent, right? And so I'm in the middle. And yet JFK is my president. What can you do for your country, right? Ask not what you can do. Well, ask not what your country can do for you. What can you do for your country?
How old were you then?
So when with JFK?
Yeah.
He was gone before. I born in 69.
Okay, thank God.
Right. So we land on the moon.
There's no way you're that old. Yeah.
However, thanks to him, we land on the moon and safely return our astronauts to the Earth. People forget about the second half of that quote,
Right?
which is the most important part. Going there is great, but if we can't get back, what are we doing? And so anyway, that's what I felt. I saw that, I had a coffee. I had a New York, I worked for a company called Cable Express in Syracuse. I had that coffee cup to my lips as I watched the second plane hit the tower, second tower.
Mm-hmm.
And I just was like, you got to be kidding me. And that was a tough moment. I knew we were under attack. I had barely known about, I knew about bin Laden thanks to John Miller at ABC interviewing him, and Steve, I can't remember Steve's name right now, but he's at Foreign Policy, and he had also done an interview, and I know both of them. So I just realized that our country was outgunned, and I walked up to the chief security officer of the state of Georgia, and I said, "What can I do?" And he goes, "Oh, this is a great time to get involved." And I'm like, "Fantastic." I said, "I've never served in the military. I've never been in law enforcement." He's like, "No, no, no, come to my office." So we set this up, and gosh, I hope he's okay with me telling the story. So he hands me a business card. I look on the back of it, and it's got somebody else's information on it. Oh my gosh. So I immediately call his voicemail, leave that. Send an email with all those details just because he might need this. He might need this for his 7 a.m. meeting. Who knows? So I do that. And it clearly set the tone. And so I go into this meeting Tuesday. I'm dressed casual because it's Georgia Technology Authority. And he says, "Ian, we're not going to lunch. We're going into a Homeland Security meeting." And you just like you guys did, my eyes are the size of saucers.
Yeah, my eyes are bigger.
Am I dressed appropriately? What? And so I go into this meeting, and it is surrounded by some of the great Atlanta leaders in business. And he says, "Ian, 80% of the critical infrastructure in this country is based in the private sector. 20% are tasked with defending it. If we don't have a working relationship, it's never going to work." Now, what I didn't know then that I know now is that Bob was an espionage agent in Vietnam. And of 100 recruits that were in intelligence in the Army, 98 went to counterterrorism, 2 went to espionage. So I essentially got groomed as an asset from go.
Oh my God, that's awesome. What a great story. Guys, I know we're coming to the end. This is starting to get so good, and it's killing me because we have so much more to talk about. So, Ian, fast forward, you got into Homeland Security. How did you bring the entrepreneurial spirit that you have and then what you brought to what you've done? And that's the FEMA response in the Southeast, all that stuff.
So I think that the biggest thing that I wanted to bring was equality. And this is in my congressional. I testified on the 5th anniversary of 9/11, and the opening paragraph is about we can't have a have and have not world. You can't have somebody who gets better information because they pay for it, and the other folks out here get nothing. And it is exactly the reason why I never chose to get a clearance. I was in selection. We weren't sure if it was going to be an FBI clearance or a DHS clearance.
Wait. The only reason I had you on here is because I thought you were going to bring us some serious secret clearance stuff. No?
That would be illegal. And and
all right, everybody. You got some bonus shit because I was not going to bring this. You know what? I'm not even going to play this one. I probably won't because I wanted secret clearance stuff, man. Come on now. All right.
And the reason why is I never wanted to be in a position with a business partner that I couldn't share information that I knew. That was unacceptable to me. And if I had the right information from open sources, I can talk about it because it's on Google. Like the number of calls that I've made to colleagues of mine who go on Google to find out what's available, they can tell me. This is obviously 10 years ago. And then they would tell me that much. But other stuff I was able to aggregate and collect by piecing different pieces of information together. And I was actually sitting with the acting secretary of DHS. And I said, "Look, the way you do this is you tell us the threat, but you're not specific. You give us 2 to 3 examples, and then you ask us to be prepared." And I said, "All you're doing is you're using those examples to tell us what to look for." Right? And he looks at me and he's got an ear-to-ear grin and he just says, "You read the tea leaves pretty well, Ian."
All right. What was the worst or best preparedness response that you guys ever prepared and worked on? I mean, like, give us the biggest, worst one.
So that's really hard to say because I think that it's definitely a moving target. If 9/11 was a failure of imagination, the next failure is to not be prepared for everything else. What we did during 9/11, and this is not scientific, so don't write me, but we essentially took our counter drug and counter narcotics folks who were the best in law enforcement at the time, and we put them on counterterrorism overnight. Some had a week, some had a few weeks, right? And so we used the ideas and the genius of what they were doing in a different discipline, and we brought it over to the new discipline, which was the direct threat. We didn't know. And so I'm not sure I'm really hitting on the answer to your question because there are a bunch of different directions we could go. We could talk about how is it that, during Hurricane Katrina, Hurricane Pam, an exercise with a ring binder is sitting right there. Some of the outcomes from that exercise, even though it was Cat 3 and it was directly over New Orleans, not over, Louisiana and Mississippi, some of the after action report would have been vital. You've got a brand new, and I'm not being critical in any way. This is just the overwhelmed by events that happens inside of Homeland Security. So you have a brand new governor. Governor and the staff may or may not know you got to invite the president, right? If you don't know that, then what can the president do? And I remember sitting in a meeting. We were trying to figure out how to work a donation so that the company that wanted to make the donation didn't have to be treated as like a federal um, contractor or something. I can't remember the exact details.
They wanted to give you money, but the bureaucracy said,
it-
"Oh, you got
Yeah,
all these."
it wasn't me, but it was something about that the way they did their books was a certain way, and the federal government wouldn't allow it because if you're a prime contractor of the federal government, you have to do your books a certain way. And so some genius in the room, and this is really what I did. Alan says, well, why don't you just give it to the Red Cross and they can
See,
give it to somebody else?
I'm a genius.
I've heard that from you, of course. All right, so that's the way they pulled that down. Wow. All right, I hate to do this because Alan has to leave. Here's why we're on the time constraint. No, we have to talk about this.
Oh, yeah.
So his middle son, Michael, is going back to Belgium. They may not see him again. Of course, they're going to see him again, guys. But check this out. The kid got recruited to go back to Belgium to work on his PhD because they wanted him so bad. This is his last night in the US, and Alan has to leave. So Alan's going to do that. We're going to invite Ian back. But you know what? If you know anything about Belgium, where is he going?
KU Leuven.
He's going to
One of
KU Leuven.
Europe's
If you
great
know anything,
universities, yeah.
hit me up, Chris at the Trusted Toolbox. Give us some deets on that, what's going on. Help Alan out. He wants to go over there and visit. This is an incredible opportunity for your son, and it's so exciting because one of the things we do as parents is we'd love to see our kids thrive, and your kids are doing it. And
He's crushing
thank
it.
you for doing it, and he is crushing it. And go make it go happen. Get out of here. We got to get going.
All right.
Hey, everybody, we got some amazing stuff going on. You got to keep listening. Get your friends to follow. We're bringing Ian back because Ian is way too cool to only have one episode. We're out of here. Gotta go.
Cheers, everybody.